Yeah, Trinity's not even in the Bible. They have to try to shoehorn it in there and claim
It's not even in the Bible, exactly.
it's illogical. It's the same essence, but it's different. It's the same thing, but it's also different and separate. It's just like, dude, you're just pill pulling like a rabbi on the Sabbath.
Yeah. Now check this out. This is from Maccabees. People said that another thing I noticed in these types of people, they'll say the word Jew it was invented after Christianity.
Mhm.
There were Israelites before that. It's like, no, this is nonsense. This is from first century BC, second century, yes, second century BCE, and it says it right here. We the Jews. It uses Judaios, Jews. The covenant he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his faithful servants. We the Jews wrote to you in extremity. The Jews that are throughout Egypt, health and peace. They already use this term for all Israelites. It's synonymous.
Yeah, I'll debate these guys, and they'll say, "No, it's not the Jewish God." And I'll say, "Yeah, it is. It was only people known as Jews for hundreds of years worshiping this God. The only people that worship this God were known as Jews before Christianity."
Exactly. There wasn't. This isn't something that came later. The Jews were always there. They always called themselves Jews. They never called themselves Ephraim or Gad or any of the 12 tribe names. They call themselves Jews. And like over time, people in the northern realms, Israelites, started calling themselves Jews too. Everyone started calling themselves Jews after a while.
You know, I forgot where I read it. I think it's in the Mythmaker, but about like Paul claiming to be from the tribe of Benjamin. Like,
yeah,
that has some like theological significance as well, and it like has some deep meaning. It wasn't authentic.
King Saul was a Benjaminite.
There you go.
He matches up to Mimesis.
Have you heard the cope from Christians online? They'll say that hold on, is my mic working okay? Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Okay, somebody complained about
no, I can hear you.
I was using a different mic. They'll say Jews didn't exist until the 1700s because the letter J didn't exist. Have you seen that one? I'm sure you've seen it.
I'm showing on the screen right now. Yeah. In English, it says Jews, but if you look at the damn Greek or Hebrew, Judaios, there's no J. You don't need to add a J. You're adding a J later. So when you go back, you can still have the word Jew there, but it's with an iota, Judaios. And look over here, Yehudi. So Yehudi, you got Judaios, and then Jew. That's it. It's that simple. And
they'll say the Jews killed Jesus, but then Jesus is not a Jew, or they'll say it's the same Greek word.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It uses the same Greek word for saying the Jews killed Jesus, as it says that Jesus is born the King of the Jews, or salvation is of the Jews.
He literally called the King of the Jews. Exactly. And then look, Judaios is the word they use that drove out the Jews. Here we go again. Watch this. Once again, you have book of Jeremiah, way deep into the Old Testament. What does Jeremiah say? Before all the Jews that sat in the court of the prison, Judaion, same word, or Yehudi in Hebrew. So this word, it was already synonymous with Israelite all the way back in the time of Jeremiah. Here's from Luke, where it says Jesus, the son of, because this is the genealogy of Jesus. Math, which is the son of Matthias, son of Semi, the son of Joseph, the son of Judah. And there it is right there, Judah. So Jesus is a Judahite. This is another inscription from 250 BCE that mentions a man named Moschus Judaios, or Moschus the Jew, or Judean. So they're being called Jews in 3rd century BCE. Here we go right here. King Hezekiah, king of Judah. See? King of Judah. That's what it means. So there's I think I gave enough evidence that the word Jew was already synonymous with all of Israelites centuries before the Gospels even were written.
And every single church father, when it talks about the Jews of the Bible of the New Testament, it never once says they're not Israelites or they're secret Edomites. There's not one time does it say that.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter to these lying Christians. No. Also, I got a couple real quick. In Matthew 2, it says, where is he the one that is born king of the Jews? Iudean?
Yeah. That's it. It's Judean. It says right there. It's in the sources. It's in your Bible. Jesus is a Jew, and he's from the line of Judah.
The same one from
you cannot get out of this unless you just deny reality. Christianity is Jewish.
They'll say, no, he wasn't Jewish, he was Judean, or he wasn't Judean, he was a Judahite. Like all of
that's what the word Jew comes from.
Yeah,
It comes from Judahite.
So the same one where it says that the Jews killed Jesus in First Thessalonians, same word. They're all the same word.
Yeah.
The synagogue of Satan declaring themselves Jews, Iudaeus.
I think
Iudeon and Iudaeus is just like different tenses, right? With how it's
right.
used.
One of them's that's the nominative case right there. That's your number one nominative, meaning the most. That's I am a Jew. And then the other one was accusative with an N at the end. So it's the same. It means the same thing. One of them means he's a Jew. Another one means I'm a Jew. That's it. It just means Jew.
So salvation of the Jews. The Jews killed Jesus. Yeah. They say they're Jews, but they're not. Jesus born the King of the Jews.
That's the genitive case right there. So of the Jews. So the only reason why there's an N at the end and not an S is because it's in the case of genitive of the Jews. The same word.
This has happened with so many debates with Christians. They'll say, no, Jesus never claimed to be king of the Jews. That's just what the Romans and the Jew put up above his head on the cross to taunt him, right? But no, actually, in the beginning of Matthew, it also says, where is the one born the king of the Jews?
And like I said before, you can look in this genealogy. He's from the Davidic line, which is from the line of Judah. David is a Judahite king, ruling from the kingdom of Judah. He's full-blooded. Jesus even born in Bethlehem, just like David is. Bethlehem is in Judah. Jesus is a Jew.
And that's the other code. They'll say, no, he's not. He was a Galilean. And the Galileans, there's a verse about the nations, Galilee of the nations. So that means he wasn't Jewish. Okay, so
that's like saying somebody who's 100% Indian, who he marries a 100% Indian wife, but they move to the United States, and the child is born in the United States. Is that person not Indian?
Exactly.
That's the same thing. Just because she's born in Galilee, his parents are both Judahites still. They're both from the line of David. It says it in the genealogy. It doesn't matter where he's born. He could have been born in Greece. Doesn't make him a Greek. He's still a Jewish person by ethnicity. No way around that.
I have a hard time believing there's so many low IQ coping Christians online that just eat this stuff up, or if it's because I don't want to get conspiratorial with you, but I know that there's intelligence agencies and people around the world that have bots all over the internet.
Yeah, some of these people don't feel real.
They're too stupid to be real. So the only question is, if we know bots exist, we know they're botting things, what is being botted? And when I see this stuff explode, it makes me wonder, are they promoting all of this disinformation to keep everybody retarded? Same with the flat earth stuff. I always wondered the same thing about that too.
I think so. I think Christianity's growth, whether it be for Protestant churches or Catholic Orthodox, that is like good for a certain paradigm to thrive, which is like some scholars tell me the reason why a lot of Christianity does get propped up in academia is because it's basically an issue of Israel, like survival. Is if they have support in the West, it's going to mostly come from Christians. So Christianity has to be on the table, and in order to have Christianity in the West, people need to believe in it. So it's like there's a circle that ends up getting into like, now you're supporting international framework, if that makes sense.
You'll see, especially e-Crusader internet Christians, they love John Chrysostom. He's the most hardcore based church father, right? They love to cite him. What does he say in the homilies on Romans? The Jews are Israelites indeed, but not according to the faith. So not even your most beloved based church father. Saint John Chrysostom is saying that the Jews are not Israelites. But I'm sure that whoever that person was on Twitter, you showed the screenshot of, I'm sure they know better than him, right?
Right.
It's kind of like the Christians will deny this book by Peter Schaeffer. He'll be the expert that they'll cite for Jesus in the Talmud, right? He had that famous book about Jesus in the Talmud. But the Jewish Jesus, how Christianity emerged from Judaism, they'll say, oh, that's disinfo. That's Jewish disinfo. That's what the Christians will say.
Right. Just anything they don't like is Jewish. Except for the
including
things
including me.
Yeah. And then the things that aren't Jewish are.
Yeah. So Jesus, who's circumcised on the 8th day and called the King of the Jews, not Jewish, but the white guy
They
Yeah.
live in a backwards world. They do.
Complete
It's
inversion.
a complete upside down world. Everything that's Jewish is not Jewish. Everything that is Jewish isn't Jewish.
Pathological liars.
Right. Fascinating to watch.